There we go. Hello again, this is Ben Hitchcock cross-talking, and I just want to say one of the perils of working with your parents is something else. As you know, and I've boasted here, we got a big settlement in this open meetings case for Michael Meyer at $132,000, something like that. And for open meetings cases, which involve fees, that's in the state of Wisconsin, that's pretty big. And we had been working on a press release for some time. We had known about this. We were all ready to go. The right date, getting everything planned out for the media strategy, all those things, getting the contacts 100% ready. And then what happens on that very same day, Friday? What do you think is going to happen? The government comes out with Sikorsky subsidy, agrees to pay $70 million to settle false claims. And so then your mother has to come out with her press release noting the fact that she's the attorney in that case. That's a little complicated when you look it up because it is what is called a key tam, a relator's case. So the government, it's in the name of the government, but we are the people who are representing the whistleblower here. And one tries to grow up, but the pesky old, I think it's hilarious. I don't know about you. I just, it's funny. $70 million. I mean, come on. And I'll spell it out. I think it's funny because I'm extremely pleased on the whole thing, but couldn't it have been the next day? It's funny. Okay. So I am going to talk to you about the Mike Meyer case in a little bit, sort of behind the scenes there now that it's all settled. Why? Because I want to talk to you about Megan Fox. And, well, I don't know which Megan Fox you're thinking of, but this one works for PJ Media. And we are going to go and talk about her settlement with the Wauwatosa School Board back in November of 2023. And I want to highlight this for two reasons, because we learned a lot about it while we were going on because of what we were learning from the school board's reaction to that claim. And so that, I think, was fascinating. And also it tells the sort of problems that MPS is going to have when the lawsuits on their school board meetings finally all get through here. So I know that there's a bunch of them coming. I assume there may be more after this video, but we'll see. So again, there's two concepts that I want to just be clear on, which is, and this is the pro tip here. Go get the complaint. Somebody else's fight. Go get the complaint. Go get a copy of the complaint, and if you feel like you can copy and paste it wholesale and that helps you, go do that. If you hear that somebody's filing a lawsuit that's interesting related in the media, go get the complaint. Go get the complaint. If you have Pacer access, go get the complaint, read it. You will learn a lot more about the facts and the allegations of that suit and what causes of action that you may see. Because when I see case settle headline, special education case settles for, $1 million, I go get that complaint. 100%, I'm going to go get it. That has anything to do with special education, anywhere, especially in the Seventh Circuit. I'm going to go get that complaint because that's the thing that I'm most interested in. And I think the law is the least developed, and I want to know what they pled because I might copy them. I might gonna. Okay, so fingers crossed. Bam. All right, Wauwatosa School Board pays my bills and offers public apology for violating the Constitution. Megan Fox, November 15th, 2023. And I believe this is Megan Fox. I know this is the genuine Wauwatosa School District letterhead, October 20th, 2023. Last year, I covered a board meeting at the Wauwatosa School Board in Wisconsin. Whoa. Okay. We're going to back up a second because you see what she's alleging here. As you well know, or I think part of what, no, I'm going to strike that. Mike Meyer was tainted with this brush. Okay? And what do I mean by that? He was sort of, members of the board were saying, in my opinion, that Mike Meyer was in cahoots with the people who hold the same position as these people did. And I don't know. I'm assuming that they're talking about sex ed. They're talking about, as we said with Mr. Meyer, human growth and development. I assume that that's what they're talking about. It's a little alarming to me, but I don't know what I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is this, and I'm sorry, I'll be more clear. Here's the headline. Mike Myers stood up for the Constitution. If that means standing up for people who want to say these things, then that's what Mike Meyer did, and that's what the Constitution stands for. So, in which the board seems to agree to now. So I think we just need to move on to MPS, and we'll be getting somewhere. But I mean, we see this all over the state, all over America, where people who have views that are opposite to the views of people who are on the school board are removed from the school board, not allowed to say the same in the same way that people who agree with the school board are, whether they're pro DEI or pro guns in schools or something else. Okay, and that's the distinction that I'm making here is standing up for free speech does not mean that you're, a wacko or standing up for wackos. It means that you're standing up for the right to be a wacko. And I think that that's extremely important, and because it's America. People have the right to say things that other people, like attorneys, might look at and say, whoa, Nellykins. I wouldn't say that, but let's read it. She's absolutely fair if that's her opinion. Last year, I covered a board meeting at the Wauwatosa School Board in Wisconsin. The board was implementing pornographic content in its elementary school program that was so graphic that local news wouldn't show it on television. Parents, activists, and protesters streamed to the meeting to let their voices be heard against the sexualization of these people. Now, I want to say two things, I guess, about that. What my understanding of definition of pornographic is, I guess, twofold. Number one, I don't know what it is, but I know it when I see it, right? That's the famous one. But I think that the main content of it, the main distinction between that and, say, art and I don't know what the didactic, something used for teaching purposes, I don't know, is the intentionality, right? And that one thing can be art and another thing can be pornographic, depending on to the viewer. But we don't necessarily look at that when we're talking about what is the purpose of the thing. We look at who put it into the public view, not what does the public think of it. What's the intention behind it, not how do we feel about it. So I can imagine a case being made for that there is, what she describes as pornographic. Somebody else could say no, that has a teaching application. I don't know what's being described here. So again, unless you know it, it's hard to say. I will say, just for example, I know that in Scandinavia and Denmark, which I'm more familiar with, things that I would definitely consider to be pornography are used for teaching in schools. So those views are possible. think this is a post, a thread to explain the hilarious necessary lawsuit that I'm going to file against the Wauwatosa School Board and why I need your help. On October 25th, I live streamed the Wauwatosa, Wisconsin meeting. I kind of think that's the one with the presentation and let's say this is remember the allegation that the board changed some of the survey data and the superintendent told other board members and members of the public that it was the superintendent's idea. That I think that this precise, if it's not the same meeting, it's this same time, certainly the same controversy. Many parents came out to protest the graphic sexual grooming in the curriculum. Okay. And then there's a link to Twitter. Among them was Jamie Mitchell, the head of Gays Against Groomers. When it came time for public comment, the board began to intimidate the crowd, including Mitchell, demanding that she dox herself on camera and give her address before she could speak. Huh. We've noticed, have we not, that prior to this, that the Milwaukee Public School Board meetings used to require you to say your name in front of there. They have, I think there's no question in my mind that somebody has advised MPS based on this, but also because of the Deb Keithu lawsuit, and possibly they know what's coming from others. Because I assume there will be, just given the videos that we've shared here together. Okay. Including Mitchell demanding that she dox herself. Okay. The board also shut down. I have to say that I'm either way about whether giving your address is something that is doxing or intimidating. Again, I'm still from the sort of the mindset of people who, you know, there used to be a book that they would bring to everybody's house that had an alphabetized list of everybody's name and phone number and address, and that people would get mad to the point of suing the telephone company if their name wasn't in that list. So I'm just like this concept that putting out your address is somehow doxing you, and that is still a little foreign to me, but I get it that many other people have a different concept, okay? And what's more importantly is it seems like the attorneys that are advising school boards are coming to the opinion, since Milwaukee Public Schools is no longer doing that, are coming to the opinion that that should not be a criteria, okay? Again, I think it's relevant. I think it's also, for a city like Milwaukee, it's helpful to know where you're coming from. I mean, seriously, if you give just your zip code is enough to say it sometimes, but I get it. All right. Now, the board also shut down any speech that was critical towards members, chastising members of the crowd for using their first names, even though they are elected officials. Though I was there to cover the event for my YouTube channel and only planned to stream it without comment, I couldn't help myself after watching all the violations of rights in which the board gleefully engaged. I do like gleefully engaged. All right, here is an advertisement for PJ Media and something else. All right. I mean, by all means, go and watch this. It does. That's Jenny Hoig, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure who this other person is. And by Jenny Hoig, I mean the person who's under the play button. You might remember helping me raise $10,000, I hope so, to pay Robert Barnes of Barnes Law to sue them for cutting me off unlawfully before my time expired. That lawsuit is finally settled, and the Wauwatosa bad actors, and we got to be careful with that word sometimes, had to pay every dime of legal fees, cut me a check for what Alex Stein calls Olive Garden money, and issue a public apology. This is the favorite part of my lawsuit, the apology phase. I will tell you this. It's just a pro tip section here. I think that I don't ever try to get apologies. And I may ask for one, but I don't, if the client wants it, certainly. And it's that important to them. But I think that the way I say it is this. In America, money speaks louder than apologies. And apologies are worth exactly what they're written on. Mostly, and I think partially that's true because what you get in the end is just weasel words. And if that's going to make you happy, sometimes you need that. When your name has been run through the mud publicly, you need to have a public piece of paper that you can hold up saying, hey, that investigation wasn't fair. All right. Miss Fox, October 20th, 2023, regarding the events of October 24th, 2022, the one thing I'll say about that is congratulations on getting this resolved within a year. I'm impressed. The Tosa School Board offers you an apology for the manner in which it handled your presentation during the public comment agenda item at the school board meeting. In all fairness, I'm quite positive that Mike Meyer was named in the Megan Fox suit, and it may have been for making a comment. I'm kind of danged that I don't have that in front of me here, but I do want to say I know that his actions were brought up. I don't recall that they were negatively or grounds for liability necessarily, but I think they were raised. You also are going to have to take my apology, not just for that I haven't read it, but my memory is going to be clouded by the fact that I'm an advocate here. But just to be honest, if you want to look at it, go by all means. After the aforementioned school board meeting, the school board reviewed its policies pertaining to public comment with legal counsel. Ooh. This was clearly written. Who would put aforementioned? But let's try that again. That was just fantastic. Policies pertaining to public comment with legal counsel. I like that. I think if they had left out policies pertaining to public comment with counsel, just would have been alliterative excellence. Please be assured that the school board reflected on the October 24th meeting and its response to your public comment has been appropriately addressed by the school board. Sincerely, Dr. Eric Jessup Anger, Wauwatosa School Board President. I got to read that again. Okay, please be assured. We'll just say the school board reflected on the meeting. Here's why I'm having difficulty with that. If someone said I reflected on there, no problem believing that, although I would say it means nothing. Oh, reflected. Okay. What I think, I'm just saying to the school board collectively reflected seems to me, I'm not sure what that means, but we can move. Meaning, did they do it all at once? Did they do it individually and then come together? How did they, what is that? I don't get what collective reflection means there, but especially within the open meetings law, but okay. Meetings and its response to your public comment has been appropriately addressed by the school board if we do say so ourselves. Okay, fair enough. She got 321, definitely way better traffic than us. Let's put it like that. And 30 replies. Wow, it's a resolution of a lawsuit. Regarding the events, okay. The letter read, one can imagine the school board president dictating this letter through gritted teeth. Legally mandated apologies are always funny. I mean, I guess they weren't of the same opinion then of the value of it. I think she knew the value of it would be precisely 321 likes and 30 replies. My excellent attorney, Robert Barnes, was shocked by the apology, which he has said has never happened before. The district also did not bother to try to go to court their position was untenable and sure to lose. So I'm sorry. I wonder if that means they didn't file. They didn't have to file. They settled. I'm not sure what that means because I've seen the complaint, but I mean, maybe they just tried to settle it quickly, is what that means. Okay. Not only did the board have to pay my lawyers, and write an apology, but it also had to change its public participation policy. There we go. Before the lawsuit, the Wauwatosa board policy on public comments was overly broad and targeted the First Amendment right to speak with outrageous language. Here we go. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statements, public comments, when statements is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, directed to anyone other than board presiding officer, obscene, or irrelevant or disruptive. Man, how about poorly worded? The settlement that we agreed to changed that sentence in the following way. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, or terminate public comment when the statement is too lengthy, directed to anyone other than the board presiding officer, obscene, or disorderly. That is something there. Because for them to agree, I've always been told this time and time again, that we are a democratic board. We can't agree to change our policy as part of a lawsuit. We may exercise in response, we may exercise our discretion to do that, but we can't agree. Well, and again, we're filtering through her language here, but I do recall something similar to that, meaning that change happening about that time. TOSA can no longer cut off comments it simply doesn't like because it feels in its false sense of self-imposed importance that the comments are abusive, personally directed, irrelevant, or disruptive. Leaving aside the editorial comments, I do feel, that does seem a lot safer. Members must adhere to the legal standards of disorderly conduct. I think that's very fair. If that's what they came to, it does sound like excellent lawyering, Mr. Barnes. Another policy item that was changed was the demand for private information before speaking. The old policy required the name, address, and the affiliation with the school district. The board now only asks for a name and has also moved public comment time to the beginning of meetings, so no one is forced to sit through a 2-hour plus board business to have her. Well, Milwaukee seems to have done that too, which is very fascinating. Because boy, have we sat through. See, you read complaints, and they're following them up in the news, and you learn a few things. Robert Barnes, oh, there he is, sat down to discuss these changes and the implications with this lawsuit will have going forward in Wisconsin and across the country. Well, fantastic. All right. Yeah, there's all my searches. How can I direct you here? Let's just go back up to this is Megan Fox. Again, this is PJ Media. And the headline is TOSA School Board pays my bills and offers public apology for violating the Constitution. Yeah, no, I thought that was fascinating. And again, it has certainly influenced our work with Debbie Keither's case, and I'm sure many others coming up. And it looks like Milwaukee Public Schools will have to change and has already changed its policy. So we're starting to move in the right direction here. So again, synergy and shameless copying is perfectly legitimate. Thanks for sticking with us. I think we did it. Did we? We did. We'll keep you informed. Take care. I could hit the end record button now, but